Tennessee Titans cornerback Roger McCreary is elite in the slot, and the NFL world is starting to notice. I'll show you what the tape says on today's film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans. Titans fans, welcome into another film breakdown from Tic Tac Titans, your home for Tennessee Titans film content. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, host of the #1 Tennessee Titans podcast in the world, Locked On Titans. I've covered the team for Sports Illustrated, USA Today. I've been a Tennessee Titans fanatic for 25 years, and I'm a certified film junkie, breaking down the X's and O's with you guys all year long. On today's film breakdown, we're going to take a look at one of the most underrated Tennessee Titans players, and that is Roger McCreary. McCreary has showed that he can be an elite slot cornerback, whether it be man coverage, zone coverage, showing physicality in the run game. He can give it all to you, and I'm going to show you all of that on tape. Before we get into the film breakdown, do want to encourage you guys to like the video, show some support to the channel. The content is always free. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, as I have a ton of great film content coming your way as the season begins and as we go through this training camp period. But with that being said, we're breaking down Roger McCreary's film on today's show. As we always do, let's dive into the tape. So when you're looking at elite level slot cornerbacks in the NFL, there are different elements that go into it. But number one on top of that list, obviously, is going to be coverage ability. Whether it's in man, whether it's in zone, you have to be able to cover your wide receiver. And Roger McCreary does a great job of that. That's why he's one of the best slot cornerbacks in the NFL. But I want to focus on man coverage first, because whether you're in a match zone, whether you're running a man play from the beginning, just being able to stick with your guy and prevent that player from getting a catch is ultimately the simplest way to describe what the job is. And we have Roger McCreary down here in the slot, which is where he needs to play. Playing on the outside it is a tough ask for Roger McCreary, but when he's in the slot, it gives him a great opportunity to win. And he's going to have man coverage on Michael Pittman Jr. here. And what I want to point out before we even run the play is, look at McCreary's hand right here. He's pointing to the outside. He is telling Christian Fulton back here, hey, I am taking the outside guy. You're going to take the inside guy. So the communication there, and this shows up all over his tape. I can't show you every single play that we see it, but it's all over the tape that McCreary is such a good communicator. But he's telling Christian Fulton, I got Michael Pittman Jr. here on the outside. And initially, I'm not 100% certain what Michael Pittman Jr. is doing here. I think he might be trying to trick Roger McCreary, acting like it's a block and then getting a quick start, tempo in his route. But McCreary is not fooled. He stays with him, hands on him. A very physical player for a guy who's only, 5'11". But Pittman tries to stop. Now we're on the scramble drill, and this is where I really like Roger McCreary. Again, it could be a zone coverage, it can be whatever, but a lot of plays in the NFL turn into man coverage eventually because of these scramble drills and off-schedule playmaking that you see in the NFL. McCreary does a great job of following Michael Pittman Jr. to the sideline here, but look at this angle right here. Michael Pittman Jr. has Roger McCreary on his back, and as a bigger, more physical player, Michael Pittman Jr. could box out Roger McCreary here and still make this play, but McCreary does a great job. Look how he dives in front of him and knocks that pass away at the last second. I mean, that is a perfect way to play a bigger wide receiver. So again, he knocks him off balance a little bit. Could throw a penalty on that offensive pass interference, pushing him away. But then McCreary gets back with him, and it's just me and you to the sideline. And again, look how he times it. Look how he's watching the ball. He doesn't go too fast. He keeps his patience. Boom. Knocks that pass away. Just an excellent play by Roger McCreary there. We're going to see a similar play right here. Again, we have Roger McCreary in the slot. That's where he needs to play. And what's going to happen is, I believe this is DJ Chark. He is going to run a quick slant route. And it's not just Roger McCreary's play on the ball here. Watch how he negotiates the release from DJ Chark. So the Titans are going to have safety help in the middle of the field on this play. So if you're McCreary, you want to force your man into the middle because that's where you have help. And you're going to see Roger McCreary do something good on the snap. Boom. He lets him inside. He lets him inside. Instead of pressing him, he goes to the outside a little bit and invites it inside because he knows that he's got help inside. And here we have Kayvon Wallace screaming downhill as a zone defender, reading the quarterback's eyes. So McCreary does a great job there of playing it right off the snap, funneling the wide receiver to where his help is at, and then watch again, another great play on the ball. Boom. Knocks the pass away. Now, would this have worked if McCreary wasn't there with Kayvon Wallace barreling downhill? That's worth wondering. But, I mean, McCreary just plays this absolutely perfectly. We see it here. He's on the inside, and watch him get his hand inside. Boom. Knock that pass away. Great job playing the ball, being patient, not overdoing it, and just waiting for the right moment to make your play. So another great play from Roger McCreary there in the slot and man coverage. Here we have McCreary negotiating the motion. So this little cheat motion that got real popular in the NFL by the Dolphins last year. Watch McCreary as he informs his teammates about the switch here and what's going to happen, because McCreary is in the slot, and initially his assignment is going to be right here. But as the motion happens, it shifts him to Noah Brown. Okay, so great job by McCreary. Look as he's pointing. He's telling his teammates, you have the outside man. I'm sliding over and getting this inside slot. So McCreary sticks with him, and he's inside. Look, McCreary is on the inside of Noah Brown. All the way from the beginning of the play, he's got inside leverage on him. And that makes it easier to have these outbreaking routes for the wide receiver, because you got the cornerback already away from where you want to go. But Roger McCreary does a great job staying in the hip pocket, reading the out route. He's with him, and he almost makes the interception. Noah Brown does a good job of trying to make him fight for it, but this is a 3rd and long. And Roger McCreary is smart about it, doesn't overplay it, waits for the ball come to him, and pounces on it, and almost gets the interception. That's the next step I'd like to see Roger McCreary take, is to get more interceptions. He only had 1 this season, and it was in zone coverage. We're going to look at it in just a second. But he does such a great job in these man coverage opportunities that I think as the game slows down even more in his 3rd season, he's going to turn more of these into turnovers. But a really great play by McCreary there, and you can tell he's thinking about it. So this play isn't a PBU, isn't an almost interception, but you can see the impact that Roger McCreary has on the play. So you're going to have McCreary here in the slot, all right? And the wide receiver is going to run an in route. A deep in route is what they're looking to do. And Derek Carr is going to get pressured by the Titans front line. He's going to step up into the pocket. And you can tell that he is trying, he is looking to hit this inside dig route. But McCreary has it so covered up that Carr doesn't have anywhere to go. And it ultimately turns into a sack for the Titans. Roger McCreary, inside leverage. Doesn't give Carr anywhere to go, and it turns into a sack for Big Jeff. And we're going to see Derek Carr's eyes here. Look at him. He's climbing the pocket, and he is literally staring at the wide receiver that Roger McCreary is covering. He wants that inside dig route over the middle of the field. He is waiting for that to come open. But because Roger McCreary has it completely wrapped up, there's simply nowhere to go. And now Derek Carr has to bail on that idea. It didn't come open. We've all been there in Madden where we're waiting for the route that we want to come open and it just doesn't, and then you're screwed. And Derek Carr's screwed here. So he's got to release. He's got to get away. Key almost gets him. Simmons almost gets the strip sack there, but takes him down for the sack. Another big play for the Titans. So again, in the NFL, coverage ability in the slot is obviously the most important thing, and Roger McCreary not only shows the ability to cover in man coverage, but the ability to be patient and make plays on the ball as well. And now as we go over to the zone coverage breakdown, we're going to see even more of that ability from Roger McCreary. So we looked at Roger McCreary in man coverage, but what I want to do now is take a look at Roger McCreary in zone coverage, because that's also an important aspect of playing cornerback in the NFL, especially in a Titans scheme that I expect to see a lot of man coverage from Denard Wilson, but also expect to see a lot of press with zone coverage on the back end. So here we have Roger McCreary in a situation that we haven't seen from him so far. He's going to be over here as an outside corner rather than in the slot. And what the Titans are going to do is they're going to run a coverage that they ran a ton last year, and that's cover to invert, which is different than traditional cover 2, where your 2 deep safeties, in this case, Amani Hooker and Elijah Molden, they would be having the deep halves. You know, traditional cover 2, your 2 deep safeties take each half of the field, and that's what it is. But the Titans would like to spin that on its head, and what they would do is they would have either 1 safety and one cornerback, or they would even use two cornerbacks at time, one slot, one outside. They did a lot of different things, but here they have Elijah Molden on the deep half on the left side of the field, and they're actually going to bring Amani Hooker into the middle of the field, into a middle field zone, and they're going to take Roger McCreary and play him as the deep half guy. So trying to do a little bit of confusion here, but McCreary has great awareness in zone coverage, and his zone was not immediately threatened on this play, but he's smart enough and understands enough that he's able to go make a play on the ball and ultimately force a turnover here. So we see it happen, and what I want to do is I want to point out the Titans often would have a mid-zone runner, so the easy place to attack in a cover 2 zone, you got this hole right here between the corner and between the low zone and the high zone, and then you have this zone over here on this side. So a lot of the time, you're going to be able to find room through the middle. So what teams will do is they'll just assign one of their mid-zone players. If someone comes vertical through the middle, just run with them. Just take them all the way up the field. And that's what Azeez Al-Shaair does here. He takes the vertical route up the middle. And you'll notice over here, Chris Godwin, who is on Roger McCreary's side of the field, he bends inside and goes in for the dig route, okay? But Roger McCreary is smart enough to say, hey, if I don't have anybody immediately threatening my zone, then I can peel off my zone and go make a play. So Roger is actually going to peel out of his zone area and make a play on this middle field vertical route right here. So this is great zone awareness from Roger McCreary. And he ultimately gets the interception, his only interception on the year. The Tampa Bay game wasn't his best outing, in my opinion, because he had to play outside a lot of the time. But that just excellently displays Roger McCreary's awareness and understanding of his coverage. And then outside of the structure of his coverage, can you go make a play when you see it happen? Do you have the instincts to do it? And Roger McCreary absolutely has the instincts to pair with his awareness. So great stuff there. All right, here's play number 2 in zone. We have Roger McCreary back in the slot right here, and he's going to be lined up against none other than Tyler Boyd, new Tennessee Titans slot wide receiver. So this should make for some interesting training camp battles here. But what I want to do is I want to show how Roger McCreary takes away what Joe Burrow wants to do. So you have Tyler Boyd, and he's going to come on kind of a quick slant, and then he's going to drive it to the side. Behind him here, you have another kind of quick slant route, and you're going to have Roger McCreary, and he's playing this zone area right here. And what he does is he kind of stunts at Tyler Boyd on the inside, and that makes Joe Burrow uncomfortable with going to Tyler Boyd there. But then after he stunts that, he drops back to take away the secondary slant route on the on the back side of it. So just great awareness from McCreary to take away the first one, to work from 1 to 2 and take away both. It's just good stuff. You'll see it in action here. So see how he stunts at Tyler Boyd? Joe Burrow is looking at Tyler Boyd right now, and he doesn't feel comfortable doing that because Roger McCreary is right here. But McCreary is looking at Joe Burrow's eyes as well, and watch him peel back to take away the secondary route, the second slant. Boom. He's turning in right here. Burrow is still looking, wanting to throw that ball. He has the ball cocked like he's about to throw it. But McCreary is right here, and he's in that pathway. So Burrow's like, dang, I couldn't throw Tyler Boyd. If he's staying in, McCreary's staying in, then I should be able to get the backside slant. But McCreary does a good job in zone coverage, dropping back there as well and taking that away. Burrow doesn't have anything, and now the time is ticking. He's got to go to the other side of the field. He throws short to Tyler Boyd on a long third down. They're not going to get it. The Titans absolutely whooped the Bengals last year, man. It's fun to rewatch that tape. One of the best games of the year, but just an excellent job from Roger McCreary. And I want to show it from the end zone view so you can look at Joe Burrow's eyes here. Look, he's looking. He went 1 to 2 really quick. Okay, Tyler Boyd's not there because McCreary's there. Now, look, he even kind of pumped it a little bit. He wanted to go to, I believe it's Trent Irwin right there, and he couldn't do it because Roger McCreary did such a good job of stunting to the 1, dropping off to the 2, taking away both of those, nowhere to go. Small gain. Amani Hooker makes the play. That's excellent zone awareness from Roger McCreary there. Now, we have another cover 3 play here. You're going to have traditional cover 3 this time, where you have Sean Murphy-Bunting as a deep third. Ultimately, one of these safeties, I believe it's Amani Hooker, he's going to peel back and be deep third, and then opposite corner, deep third as well. And you're going to have Roger McCreary right here, okay? And what he's going to do is he's going to drop into, one of these little cloud zones over here. It's not quite a flat route. It's not quite a hook zone. So he's going to drop back into the intermediate area. Now, ultimately, the play does not go anywhere close to Roger McCreary. It's not even close. So he drops into his zone. He takes both those routes away, the inside or the underneath and the deep route. All right. But Tua gets flushed by the pressure. Okay. Now look, if you're Roger McCreary right here, this is why I'm hammering the awareness word. Roger McCreary's right here. Okay. Sean Murphy-Bunting has Jalen Waddle up at the bottom of the screen. There's no one for Roger McCreary to guard. And this is a third down as well. Critical third down in this game where the Titans won by 1 point on Monday Night Football. So this is a big stop. There's nobody there. What does Roger McCreary do? He recognizes there's no one around me. There's no one for me to guard. It's a scramble drill. I need to go find somebody to guard. And that is exactly what he does, because he's going to go all the way to the middle of the field to make a play here. This is just excellent awareness and understanding. Look, that's wide open. If McCreary doesn't go as quick as he does, this is a completion. And this might be a monster play with nobody in the middle of the field but the deep safety. Boom, right there, knocks it away, almost turns into a pick. Great awareness by Roger McCreary in zone coverage there. All right, our final play, we saw Roger McCreary against Tyler Boyd. Now you're going to see Roger McCreary against Calvin Ridley, who is also now a Tennessee Titans wide receiver. But the Titans are in a red zone cover 3 here. You're going to have deep third from Sean Murphy-Bunting. I believe it's Elijah Molden who ultimately takes the deep third in the middle of the field. And then you have Roger McCreary playing on the outside. He's going to have deep third on the right-hand side. And what Calvin Ridley is going to do is he's going to run a little stutter route. Jaguars are probably expecting man coverage. The Titans ran a ton of man coverage. So he's going to come here. He's going to kind of stutter a little bit, and then he's going to take it to the corner of the end zone. And Roger McCreary is just too smart. He's not fooled, and he makes a great play on the ball to prevent Calvin Ridley from turning this. So Ridley sits down. McCreary sits with him, but then goes with him and stays, understands what his job is, and is right there. Almost gets an interception. Again, I'd like to see Roger pull down a couple more of these as we go into next year, but he's right there. He makes the play, knocks it away, prevents a touchdown to Calvin Ridley, and that's a matchup, again, that might be pretty fun in training camp. But, this just shows coverage, whether it's man, whether it's zone, Roger McCreary can get the job done. Now, let's look at the other aspect of playing slot cornerback in the NFL and look at the physicality of Roger McCreary, because that's impressive as well. So what I want to do here to kind of close things out, we've looked at the zone coverage, we looked at the man coverage, but now we're going to talk about the other aspect of being a good slot cornerback in the NFL, and that's the physicality. That's being able to play physically against the run, in the screen game, obviously get downhill in certain passing situations, like we're going to see from Roger McCreary here when he goes on a blitz and gets a sack on a play-action pass by the Cleveland Browns. So we're going to see Roger McCreary here in the slot. And what he's going to do is once he notices and IDs the play-action pass, he's just going to drive on the ball and get into the backfield. And he's got to avoid some traffic on his way there, but he's able to do that perfectly. And again, it's not just the coverage ability, but this. Watch how he jumps past the offensive lineman and gets the sack on Deshaun Watson. We're going to get an even better look at it from the end zone angle here. So you have Roger McCreary at linebacker depth. And I talk a lot about this on the Locked On Titans podcast, where I talk about how slot cornerback can almost function as a pseudo linebacker a lot of the time, because you have to play with physicality and with the prevalence of nickel in the NFL. A lot of the time your slot cornerback does have to act as a functional linebacker. And Roger McCreary has shown that he has the ability to do that. Really impressive. Ethan Posick, the center for the Cleveland Browns, peels back to try to prevent this backside pressure on a play-action pass. The Titans started doing this, but McCreary is able to just slide right around him with quickness, which he should be able to do against a guy that big, and then ultimately have the physicality to take Deshaun Watson down, which If you remember that game, a lot of the Titans defensive linemen had issues with taking Deshaun Watson down. So he slips past, is able to get him on the ground. Little help from his friends, but that's a great play by Roger McCreary and just one of the physical ways that he's able to impact the game other than just coverage. Also here, you're going to have Roger McCreary against the run, and that was, obviously a sack, but what's going to happen here is Carolina is going to run, an outside zone play and try to get to the perimeter here, and you're going to have Roger McCreary basically, I would say, one-on-one with Adam Thielen. Thielen is going to try to block Roger McCreary here, and McCreary is just too quick, too physical, too hard-nosed, and has such good awareness as well. He just sniffs stuff out so quickly. Look how dodge behind Thielen on the inside, still fast enough to go and make a physical play for a tackle for loss on second down, setting up a long third down. So again, we have Roger McCreary right here. All right, and Adam Thielen is supposed to come up to him and just get that block. And McCreary is so quick, so fast that he's able to just shoop right around it. And now you're coming to the inside when the run is going to the outside. But McCreary still has the quickness and the speed to get there. And then again, the physicality to make the play. Getting there is one thing for a defensive back, but being able to make the tackle against bigger guys, beautiful play by Roger McCreary, tackle for loss. And he lets him know, flex on him, Roger. So this is going to be a screen pass for the Texans, kind of getting to it. Look how this screen sets up. So right here, you got 1, 2, 3 right here, 4 right here. They're going to turn around all in here. And who's over here? You got 1 here, but here's Roger McCreary. And watch what he's able to do against the odds, against the numbers to make this play. Slip right around the offensive lineman. So look at this. You got these two, this guy, and then the 5'10" slot cornerback, Roger McCreary, is going to get through all that traffic and take down a screen, which could have been a much bigger play against the Titans. So that's physicality and quickness, but awareness is a big part of Roger McCreary's game as well. Beautiful stuff there. All right, finally here, we're going to have Roger McCreary in the slot right here on the inside. And again, being a slot cornerback in the NFL is more than just coverage. You have to be able to play against the run. And the Chargers are going to run a run play right here. And this is what teams are trying to do, because they're like, if you're going to play nickel, we are going to run the ball at your slot cornerback. And when you have a guy like Roger McCreary who's able to dive in and make these kind of plays, it makes it much more difficult for teams to take advantage of that situation and the numbers game right there. McCreary slides in, and it's so quick that number 5 can't possibly get to him. And they have a pulling lineman here as well. But McCreary triggers so quickly after seeing it that the pulling lineman isn't even, he's not even ready to attack Roger McCreary there, or he might have taken him. So, boom, makes a big hit on Austin Eckler and stops a game. So, I love Roger McCreary because of plays like this. Look, 5 is supposed to come in and dig him out, but McCreary is triggering on it already. His ability to ID in the run game to, oh, this is the play, trigger, coming downhill. His quickness in those situations and his IQ in those situations is definitely impressive. It's really good stuff, and it's one of the things that it's not just the coverage like we looked at earlier, but these type of plays make me so excited for Roger McCreary. Delivers a good low hit to take down the running back in Austin Eckler. And that's a great stop for the Titans. So this is the kind of stuff we saw from Roger McCreary all season long that goes with his coverage ability, which we looked at earlier. So excellent stuff in the run game against screens, blitzing against the pass. So many different situations where his physicality absolutely jumps off the screen. All right, Titans fans, that was my film breakdown on Roger McCreary. We talked about him in zone, talked about him in man coverage, talked about him showing physicality in the run game as well. Roger McCreary really needs to stay in the slot this year, but with the talent the Titans have added on the outside at cornerback, it should allow him to do so. Very excited for the season that Roger McCreary can have in 2024. Hope you guys are too. As a reminder, make sure you like the video. Make sure you hit subscribe for free Tennessee Titans content all year round here on the Film channel at Tic Tac Titans. You can follow me on Twitter at Tic Tac Titans, and make sure that you also check out the Locked On Titans podcast for daily, year-round Tennessee Titans conversation. But that's going to do it for me. Oh, and another reminder, Tic Tac Titans merch You want a Tic Tac Titans hat, maybe a polo, maybe a shirt, something like that to support the channel. The link for that is down below as well. But that is going to do it for today's film breakdown. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and as always, tighten up.